So how could they know? How could they know?
Buonasera, benvenuti in Aula Magna Santa Lucia, per favore prendiamo posto.
Good evening and welcome to Aula Santa Lucia. Please take your seats. Welcome to Aula Santa Lucia. Please take your seats. Let's start with the graduation ceremony 2018.
Bene, incominciamo.
Well, let's get started then. Good evening and welcome to Aula Magna Santa Lucia, to the graduation 2018. My name is Michele Pontecorvo. I'm Vice President of the Ferrarelli Group, but I'm here as alumnus of Bologna Business School of the Executive Master Sales and Marketing. I attended the edition number 0. I was a sort of a guinea pig, and so I keep on being used for topical moments like this one. So please be quiet, completely quiet, while the academic parades come in. And now the faculty of Bologna Business School.
Entra il corteo dei direttori di master.
And now the Master School's directors.
Buonasera, benvenuti.
Good evening and welcome. And now the cortege of the Associate Dean, the Director of the Department of the Business Administration Department.
Prego.
Please, this way. Professor Sobrero, Professor Morandini. Hello. And now the rectory cortege opened by the president of the steering committee of Bologna Business School, Mr. Romano Prodi, and then Professor Massimo Bergami, the dean, and then the rector, Francesco Ubertuni, the president of Bologna Business School.
Professore. Come da tradizione.
As is traditionally the ceremony starts with a gesture that has a particularly symbolic value. So the European anthem and then the Italian anthem. Please stand up to listen to the two anthems.
Amiamo siamo pronti alla morte, siamo pronti alla morte, l'Italia chiamò. Stringiamoci a coorte, siamo pronti alla morte, siamo pronti alla morte, l'Italia chiamò, sì.
Grazie.
Thank you. Thank you to Mara Calzolari, soprano, and piano master Marina Calzolari.
Siamo
We are actually moved by the hymn to joy and by the national Italian anthem. We're here to celebrate the final step of the Bologna Business School program, and we would like to point out once again that the people that have attended this program are now equipped with the best tools to approach the world, a world that is becoming more and more challenging, more and more complicated. And we are now going to ask Professor Romano Prodi, wise person, former president of the European Commission, former prime minister in Italy, who is going to represent the faculty steering committee. Professor Prodi, over to you. Professor Prodi is now going to help us to understand what is currently happening in the world. Dear graduates, for me it is a true pleasure to attend this ceremony. It's a very nice event, and it's a pity that this room is actually too small for this event. Next year we will host this event in the main square in Piazza Maggiore in Bologna. I'm saying this to the mayor of Bologna so that everybody is going to see us. I was given 6 minutes to make a few remarks, but actually I was meaning to speak like for 6 hours, so I have to be very brief in my remarks. Dear graduates, or future graduates I should say, since not all the diplomas have already been handed over, let me make some remarks. Actually it all goes back to one word: the impossibility to foresee things. We are living in a period where it is impossible to foresee things. Unforeseeability, that would be the word. For over 70 years, we've been living in a world filled up with fears, with financial crisis, but we always had some certainties. We had alliances, we had common goals, and we had some sort of common wisdoms, if you want. Now we find ourselves in a different period of time. It's not just about new things, it's not just about new developments, it's just the context that is different. Europe is becoming more and more divided, and for the first time after the Second World War, we are experiencing a very deep divide between the European Union and United States. Over the last few years, so these two main pillars, Europe coming forward and this bond with the United States, these two elements were both put at stake. They are both at risk, and they are actually shaking our society. There are no benchmarks left. Europe was driven by a supranational dimension, which was supported by the European Commission, and now Europe has moved to be switched basically to an assembly of national states represented now by the Council. So it's no longer the same thing. And when these situations do take place, so if we just put Europe in the hands of a council of states, then of course the Council is no longer a supranational authority. It's just a superpower that represents the most important powers in Europe. And this is what Germany has been doing over the years. Germany has been dictating its rules to Europe, thus determining problems and sorrows. So the internal policies, domestic policies of single states had been hijacking basically a policy that was based on dialogue, as we used to have in the past. Things changed over the last year. France has becoming more and more vociferous, more vocal vis-a-vis the international policy. Macron has hijacked the international policy with a French policy. In Lebanon, for instance, he stepped in his capacity as representative of France, held a conference in Libya, taking the Italians and not even taking them into consideration. And the German reaction was very clear. So you hijack international policy, then I do hijack the economic policy. So Europe was supposed to be a two-piston engine, and now we have two engines, and every single engine has got one single piston. So it's a very difficult situation. It's very difficult to support a European-wide international policy. The last summit at European Union level was an epitome of this. Was a very fragmented situation. This went even beyond expectations, and we had new alliances between countries with opposite objectives. We had an alliance between the League that would like to have as a party a balancing of the problems connected with migration, and other parties that have different views. And then let me go back to the relationship between Europe and the United States. There has always been a mutual support, and we had a lot of rivalry. But again, we were both going down in the same direction. The Bush family had, of course, a long-standing European backdrop, if you want. Mr. Clinton, he studied in Oxford. Obama had no relationship whatsoever with Europe. And we now have a president that has deep tensions with Europe, and this has also changed the relations within the European Union. We had European leaders that have always tried to acquire a position of supremacy vis-a-vis the United States. Consider the situation with President Obama. He had a privileged relations, of course, with the UK Prime Minister, and he ended up having a privileged relationship with the German Chancellor. And now, all of a sudden, we have a president that divides Europe. He is actually we can't say that he doesn't like Europe. We should say that he has no respect for Europe at all. He doesn't appreciate the value of it. And for one second, I thought that this tension might have even reinforced or bolstered the unity within Europe, since we now have a new challenge to face. But the last European summit, as I said, nobody could get on with anybody, and this is the situation. And in the economic field, here again we have another situation where it is impossible to foresee what is going to happen. Nobody would have thought that globalization could be questioned. We've been criticizing globalization from many different point of view, but for the first time ever this year, we have started having some doubts about globalization as well, as if this were an irreversible process or not. And then the customs duties fight. Europe is just the middleman, if you want, is just a spectator within this battle, within this thorny issue. This is an economic battle, a commercial battle that flows parallel to the political fights. And talking to you as graduates, you have wide experience in the field of economics, and I do really hope that this value chain that you have been studying, where you have smartphones that have been designed in the United States and then the subcomponents have been produced in China or elsewhere in Asia. Again, I do hope that all this can somehow put an end to this situation. But for the time being, entrepreneurs haven't been very vocal because the economic policy is actually a spin-off of domestic policy. Consider all the custom duties for the steel industry. The President of the United States needs this in order to win the interim elections. So all these intertwined aspects are leading to a brand new scenario. So the economic world is becoming weaker and weaker vis-a-vis all these aspects. And all this is taking place right now as new technologies are coming forward, as technological progress without any precedent is taking place. So it's a technology that involves billions of people within a very limited space of time. So this is basically changing everything from a political scheme point of view. It's a world full of changes, it's a world full of uncertainties, which should be put back within a clear scheme by politics. But politics is not really able to do this, or doesn't want to do this. So there's a brand new world in front of us. So that would be the end of my analysis. I've been talking about changes, and you are going to deal with daunting changes in the next few years. What I ask you to do is to be very active, to have faith, to give back the precious knowledge you've been given, the precious learnings you've been given by the Bologna Business School to the world. And it's not going to be easy. But that's my hope. That's what I encourage you to do. So I do hope that you will be able to go down this direction in a very clear way, although the world is unforeseeable, the world in which you're going to work. Thank you.
Grazie, professore.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Prodi. Thank you, Professor Prodi. Well, the Bologna Business School is undoubtedly a case in point, considering the local territory it is based in. And this local territory, I actually come from a farther southern region of Italy, and I must say that this local territory, Bologna and the surrounding region, is actually a very rich region from the point of view of the local industry. I would now like to ask Roberto Vacchi, who is president of the local chapter of the Italian Confederation of Industry, to take the floor, and he's also the chairman of the IMA SPA. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you very much, Rector, Professor Bertini, Professor Bergami. Thank you very much for your invitation. I was really eager to be here with you tonight. A graduation ceremony is a good opportunity to give you the point of view of companies, which will actually be the place where you will be working in the near future. I was preparing my remarks for today's ceremony, and when I first spoke in my capacity as president of the local chapter, the Emilia-Romagna chapter of the Italian Confederation of Industry, I started talking about young people, and this is basically a core element. Young people, students, are part and parcel of a growth path that our local industry is actually experiencing, and we are lucky to be in this position. What we have experienced and what we are experiencing in this local area is a small wonder. It's a small economic wonder. And why am I saying this? Because at the same time, we do feel the need of some new figures, of some new job positions that can fill in the vacuum that is present. So we do need technical people with a sound technical background, but we also need people that are able to be operate on a global scenario. The economic growth that we have been experiencing after the crisis is actually the fruit of a peculiarity of our local territory, and it is actually the fruit of what we're doing in our local territory. We share thoughts, we have across the board skills and competences, so we basically have an across-the-board a company that is able to compete with international companies. And all this is the result of a process that is based on sharing information, sharing knowledge. So what the Bologna Business School is doing, what the BBS is giving to you, is this tool, so to understand what the big challenges in the world are, but from a perspective, from a viewpoint which is not just a technical viewpoint, which is absolutely important, but it's not the whole story. So you should actually have understood how positive, how useful all this is. So as an entrepreneur, and also in my capacity as a local representative of the Italian Confederation of Industry, because I would like to point out that the BBS shouldn't just be considered as a Bologna Business School. The Bologna Business School has an outreach that is much wider than the local city or the region itself. So I'm saying this again as an entrepreneur. And a big challenge that we are facing is to train students, to train future graduates that will have to fill in the loopholes that are present within companies. And it's the manufacturing industry that has made this country a rich country. And this is actually one of the most important elements, one of the pillars of the programs of the curricula of the BBS. And this is at least the situation we are faced with in this territory. And so there is a clear need, there are clear job positions that need to be filled, and we constantly experience a situation where there's a mismatch between supply and demand, and this situation has to be solved. And I do think that the Bologna Business School is doing a great job from this point of view. We feel that our local companies will be helped, and we are more than willing to give all our support. So thank you very much. I would like to thank the rector, Professor Bergami, for what they're doing, and again, as a signal of hope for the future, I would like to conclude by saying that we are certainly experiencing a unique situation within a very complicated and complex international scenario. This brings me back to what Professor Frodi said. And when it comes to European unity, I think that we can still have some hope for the future. Thank you.
Grazie ad Alberto Vacchi.
Thank you to Alberto Vacchi, the president of IMA SPA and president of the chapter of the industrialist of Bologna, Ferrara and Modena. Now, Massimo Bergami, the Dean of Bologna Business School. His speech is entitled Feed Forward and is going to talk to us about projects that will need support in view of what Bologna Business School will have to do in the future. Benvenuti.
Business partners, welcome to our business community, our guests. Special welcome to Mr. Tony Belloni, who will give the commencement speech, and Professor Francesca Zino, will give a rebel speech, strange title, but you will know later why. Thanks to Professor Prodi, thanks to President Vacchi, most welcome to our mayor, and thank to Valeria that will talk for the students. My mind goes to the students and alumni that couldn't join us tonight because they are in different countries of the world and couldn't make it. It doesn't matter if you are away. We are together anyway. I hope you are looking through the web, and we love you all. Hello, guys. Affermiamo che l'uomo è l'autore, il centro e il fine di tutta la vita economico-sociale. Ciò nonostante, quando nell'essere umano si perde la capacità di contemplare e di rispettare, si creano le condizioni perché il senso del lavoro venga stravolto. Conviene ricordare sempre che l'essere umano è nello stesso tempo capace di divenire lui stesso, attore responsabile.
To further their moral growth and to develop their spiritual endowments, work should be the setting for this rich personal growth, where many aspects of life come into play. Creativity, planning for the future, developing our talents, living out our values, relating to others, and giving glory, an attitude of adoration. This passage of the encyclical Laudato Si by Pope Francis well illustrates the reason why we're here tonight. We're here because we believe in the future of our children, of our organizations, and of our society. We are here because we believe that education and knowledge help us build the future by way of a work with which we can express these facets of life. It is this very passion that makes us similar. You, the students, still for a few more minutes, we, the faculty, who together with the staff have the privilege of representing the Alma Mater Studiorum, the entrepreneurs and managers of the organizations working with Bologna Business School. It is in the name of this passion for learning that all of us, similar as students, are here to celebrate this day when you, almost 500 of you, end today a very important stage of your life and become masters. Master is an expression that has been and is used to mean many different things. But let's focus on the meaning of master deriving from magister, magis, larger. Therefore, masters, but masters of what? Masters of business administration, with all possible variations that may apply. And who is a master of business administration? Is he or she someone who's very good at the things you have learned together with my colleagues? Yes, of course, but not just that. Knowing techniques is fundamental. But being master of business administration today is much more difficult than it has ever been. And neither so much for the quantity of things you need to know, nor for the variety of contexts in which you'll end up operating. And one that will require of you to be excellent at managing uncertainty, not because you shall have to be the leaders of change, ready to integrate the new technologies and supporting sustainability as well. And it is not just all of this. Being masters means becoming points of reference for other people. And it is the most difficult thing for a manager. Indeed, I believe it is the most difficult thing of all professions. The figure of the master is slightly different from the figure of the leader. The master is the most competent, skilled. The master teaches, puts himself or herself to the service of others, identifies the talents, and tries to create the conditions in order for these talents to find their own way, so that they can become masters themselves. The real master generates masters. The master teaches a job, but especially operates so that work can be the setting for this rich personal growth where many aspects of life come into play: creativity, planning for the future, developing our talents, living out our values, relating to others, giving glory, and the attitude of adoration. Adoration, then. For believers, the word adoration has a very precise meaning, regardless of which is the relation involved. But it is an important concept also in a secular perspective. Adorare, to adore, is made up of ed, to, and orare, to address, to invoke the name of os oris, the mouth. And according to the interpretation, it is the meaning of the actual act of reverence that the wayfarer would address to a person or thing worthy of respect, before whom he would pass, slightly kneeling and touching with his right hand the object of his reverence, while he would bring his left hand to his mouth, kissing it, and then waving it towards the object to be honored. This sign of worship and respect was already in use in the East and in Egypt. Then the Romans adopted it. And the concept of adoration is present in basically all religions, even though in different ways. Adoration means I acknowledge in the other a subject that deserves my esteem and my respect. Adoring means not placing oneself at the center of everything, but recognizing that the other exists and is essential for my human blossoming, to use one of Aristotle's images. It's not an easy thing to do, at least for me. Tonight, we have here executives and their master, and we have young people. For the executives, one might think it's easier because perhaps they're in an organizational conditions that grant them more leverage power. Untrue. Being masters is more than an attitude. It's a way of being. A way of being at work, even when we'll be faced with difficult moments. I count myself a lucky person. I had many masters. Luck made me meet them, then I chose them. And it hasn't always been easy to make myself be accepted. I had masters who were younger than me, surprising people who were hierarchically, to use this bad word, were below me, people who interpreted their own role within this spirit. This is what I'd like to tell you, masters of Bologna Business School. Give everything you have because you're talented and because you prepared for this. But remember, your power, your real power, lays in being masters in the highest sense. Bring your enthusiasm, your energy. Do not surrender when faced with the many obstacles you will encounter. Bring the true meaning of work among your colleagues and in the companies you will work for. That is, creativity, planning for the future, developing your talents, living out your values, relating to the others, with an attitude of adoration. I believe this is the formula, a formula of professional happiness, and that it represents at the same time the best contribution that competent people can give to the healthy competitiveness of their businesses, thus contributing to the growth of economy and society. And now briefly a few words about the school. This year too we've grown plus 8 million of revenues, 8.3, then plus 10%, 1.5 million fundraising. We've converted 1.5 million euros scholarships over the same period. We distributed 2.5 million euros in honor loans to all those who asked for it, who applied. And I have to add something very briefly. We are ready to help all those who have difficulties after honor loans, but we will be inflexible with those who besmirch the honor of BBS alumni. 90% of class 2016-17 found a job over a period of 6 months. We have added to every master's a course on digital culture. This year we have 11 full-time master courses in Italian and English, and then there's a new track of the global MBA, supercars, superbikes and motorsports that will start in September in partnership with Dallara, Ducati, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Magneti Morelli, Maserati, and Toro Rosso. 10 executive masters, 3 corporate masters, 1 of which with Capgemini and 1 with the new heads of Ferrari, who this year will receive their executive MBA. New university master courses were launched. Clearly, Villa Gustavilani is no longer large enough, and so we're already in the process of planning an extension of our premises. I don't wish to make any announcement today, but the direction we're heading to is quite clear. Of course, we don't want to leave the villa. This isn't something we can do by ourselves, but mostly it isn't something we want to do by ourselves. We'll involve businesses, people, and we'll start institutions, and we'll start a crowdfunding project with the alumni. I really like that each alumnus were the owner of a brick of the new premises, and I'd like to write their name on that very brick. The new premises will include an area devoted to the alumni, as their activities are destined to grow. At the institutional level, we have 2 new founding members. I'm very pleased to announce these names tonight. So we have added Automobili Lamborghini, represented here by Umberto Tessini, and the Society of Scholars, a group of faculty, core faculty, historical faculty. They have created an association, a society to cooperate to the school. At an international level, we have had the EPAS accreditation of the HR Masters and also the Global MBA accreditation for 5 years. And today we sent the application for the EQUIS accreditation of the entire school. A year ago, we announced that we were going to do it. We have formally started the process. Today, we state again our commitment for the development of people, of companies, and of society. These territories made of extraordinary organizations at different level of development, sharing a passion for innovation and the motivation to grow. So we intend to be the fuel of the growth of the companies that President Vacchi just talked about. Before ending, I would like to thank all those who are close to us and help us, donors, sponsors, and those who simply come to share their experience in our classrooms. There are many managers, many executives, many entrepreneurs who come and share with us, with our students, their experience. This is one of the distinctive elements of our school, and I would like to thank you for that. Together with the associate deans, I would like to thank all the people at the university who contribute for the administration and for other aspects, our partners, all our faculty and the staff of the school. They really do a very important job. To you, the class of 2018, I wish you once again to be masters. I wish you to bring to your workplaces creativity, planning for the future, developing your talents, living your values, relating to others with an attitude of adoration. It's hard. Doing anything is hard. Even attending this school is hard. Nonetheless, as Martin Luther King said, even if I knew that tomorrow the world would go to pieces, I would still plant my apple tree. Dear class of 2018, I wish you all the best for you and your career. Thank you, Professor Bergami. And now let's come to a much awaited moment. So the award that goes to the best students and best faculty 2018. These are rankings made through assessments made by the students and assessing the teaching. This year, the competition was very hard because the ranking was very close, both with teachers, so faculty, and students. We have executive masters, full masters, and international masters. Let's start with the students. Best Student Awards 2017 are Best Student Executive Master, Barbara Barbara Yotsova, Executive Masters. Best Student International Master, Andrew DeVille, Global MBA, Green Energy and Sustainable Business. Best Student Graduate Program, Master Full-Time in Italian, Beatrice Ragni, MBA. Congratulations. I think a photo later, or with the others as well. Okay, very well. As then faculty. Best Executive Masters Teachers, Andrea Cintiluciani. Best Teacher Graduate Program, Matteo Mura. Best Teacher for International Masters, Emanuele Baio.
Congratulazioni. Congratulazioni.
Congratulations, congratulations. I think a photo is coming now. I'm asking then Professor Prodi and the Dean and the Rector. You are the Rector, you're the boss. You need to decide.
Complimenti a tutti.
And congratulations to all of you. And now the keynote speech. Tonight is a great pleasure. We have a very young woman here with us, an Italian excellence, exported abroad, full professor at Harvard. She's written over 100 publications internationally. She's also editor-in-chief of Organizational Behavior in Human Decision Process, one of the most important scientific journals about management. She's part of the editorial board of many important journals. She has received many awards for teaching and research. In 2015, Boards and Councils included them in their Thoughts Under 40, the group of best business school teachers all around the world, younger than 40. And in 2017, she was included in the Fingers 50 list, featuring the 50 most influential scholars of management. And she's a mother of 3. Now let's welcome Francesca Gino.
Thank you.
La potete osservare lì in alto.
It is such an honor and pleasure to have the opportunity to be here with you. I'm going to speak English. I've been in the US for 18 years, and my English sounds bad, but my Italian is even worse. I'm going to tell you why I labeled this little speech Rebel. It comes from a title of a book that I published recently called The Rebel Talent: Why It Pays to Break the Rules at Work and in Life. And as I'm looking at you today, I see a lot of rebel talent in here. When we think of rebels in business, we tend to have a very fixed ideas of people like visionary Steve Jobs, people who are very creative, but the stories go also people who are difficult to work with, or people you don't want to have as a boss or as an employee or as a colleague. And I wrote the book to shift the thinking around who the rebels are. Rebels are people like you, people who are full of talent, people who are going to break the rules, hopefully, but in a constructive way, in a positive way. When I think of rebels, I think of people like Captain Sally Sullenberger. You're probably very familiar with this person. He's the captain who ditched a plane in a cold evening in 2009 in the Hudson River. And when I had the chance to speak to him, I was curious to hear how he could make such a big decision in 208 seconds. That's the time that he had when he discovered that he had no thrust in the engines, and the time where he landed a plane in the Hudson River outside of New York. This is a guy who, rather than going for the obvious answer, he kept his mind open. If you were to read the accident report of that accident, he considered all sorts of options. And when I talked to him, I learned that he had tons of experience. More than 30,000 hours of flying. He served as a volunteer in all sorts of accidents, so he knew a lot about what goes wrong on planes. And yet, every time he walked into a plane, he would ask himself the question, what could I learn here? So in looking at all of you, the hope that I have, and it's a big hope, is that despite the experience that you already have and that you're going to gain going forward, is that you're going to have the same type of intellectual humility. Always looking at the world with curiosity, always looking at the world with multiple perspectives rather than just your own. That's what rebels do. I'm also feeling particularly proud to be here because one of the examples that really inspired the book is an Italian leader. He is the chef and owner of a Michelin star restaurant, 3 Michelin star restaurant in Modena, Osteria Francescana, the restaurant that was nominated the best restaurant in the world in 2016 and then again in 2018. And what is really powerful about his story is that he went into a context where you're really not supposed to mess with traditions. If you know anything about Italians, and you probably well do, you don't break rules when it comes to cooking. We cherish our old ways, and he did just that. He studied traditional recipes very carefully, and then he reinvented them. He had the humility of going and studying what was there carefully, but he was also curious and asked questions, why is it that we do things this way? It might have made sense 20 years ago or 30 years ago, but it doesn't make sense now. So I'm leaving you with this big hope that you're all going to embrace your talents like the rebels do, that you're going to stay curious, always thinking about not what you know, but what's left to learn, and that you're going to have that humility and courage to break the rules when rules are holding you and others back. And I'm also hoping, since you're all masters, that you're going to help others do the same. Congratulations. I think this is a big night for all of you, a big achievement, and I hope that you're going to use what you learn to help yourself and others do better in business. Thank you, and good luck.
Grazie a Francesca Gino.
Thank you, Francesca Gini. Tonight, every student will receive a copy of the book, Rebel Talent. So we will put what you said into practice within a short period of time. And tomorrow, Francesca will hold a speech at Villa Augusta Villani, and her speech will be much longer than tonight. So one more reason not to miss tomorrow's event. We have asked one of the graduates of our school who's been enthusiastic about our programs, and she has come all the way from Venezuela, and she is now concluding, she has actually concluded a master in the technical field, and she's now working for Philip Morris. Valeria Rojas Nastrucci is now going to take the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to represent the 2018 class of our great Bologna Business School this night. My studies at Bologna Business School have created many lifelong experiences that represent the starting point of a professional journey that begins today and can take you very far. In this school, there are no boundaries in terms of culture, in terms of interest, in terms of dreams. During this year, I had the chance to get to know people from all over the world who helped me to shape a different approach of how to perceive and assess phenomena, challenges, and perspectives. During this year, one of the best experiences was to be exposed to a broad set of cultures represented by a wonderful group of peers. It was a master that combined academic rigor, passion for Italy, and its excellence and cultural sharing with the participation of students from 26 countries. Just to mention one example, it is interesting to see how my friends from India use opposite face movement to say yes or no to the one I'm used to, or to observe how differently a dress code can be interpreted. Bologna Business School made me a professional capable of understanding challenge and transformation. I'm now well equipped to cruise the digital revolution, globalization, and its evolution. During this year, my colleagues and I discussed about artificial intelligence, soft and hard powers, and raise the emerging market. This is really unique. This program helped me to drive myself to work for an international company, and I enjoy a crucial career shift. This school, my classmates, and the knowledge I acquired made me a professional I am tonight. I dream to see all of you reaching the highest goals. And I'm sure that in the future, I would have the honor to say, I studied with the COE of a major international company or with the founder of a leading innovating startup. We also need to embrace the relationship we developed during our studies and create a network that grows stronger and stronger. We need to continue eliminating mental barriers and believe in ourselves. We need to have the courage to express our ideas with respect and to listen carefully to one to another, no matter how contrasting the others could be. Knowledge is around the corner. Attitude is not. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, but we can always identify them and work to improve our attitude. It is normal practice to seek coaching, since we all are ultimately humans and can always keep evolving our skills. Attitude drives people to excellence, and we have to follow, okay, our attitude. Keep adding value to yourself, never stop curiosity, never stop your creativity, and be prepared for the future evolution. We have a huge challenge in front of us, and I strongly believe that education is the best way we have to keep updated and to make sure we adapt to the new environment as change happens. I'm grateful that our Bologna Business School provides us with the path to do exactly that, so go BBS. And finally, in the representation of all of us, I want to say a big thanks to those who made this possible. Thanks to the MBA team, the professor who supported us in our journey. And one phrase I want you to keep in mind is, live as if you were going to die tomorrow, and learn as if you were going to live forever. Mahatma Gandhi, thanks.
Brava. Complimenti. È evidente che Bologna Business School le barriere mentali.
It is evident how the Bologna Business School helps people to destroy mental barriers. Right, so now, from one career that has just started to a career that has already asserted itself. So we're now going to welcome a person that has been leading one of the most important fashion groups throughout the world for 17 years. Now, Tony Belloni will now take the floor. He's managing director of the LVMH group, and I would now like to give him the floor for the commencement speech of the 2018 graduation ceremony.
Buonasera.
Good evening.
First of all, BBS for inviting me tonight. for the very generous introduction. Most important, congratulations to the class of 2019 graduates. It's your big day, that of your friends and families. For me, it is really an honor to address you all tonight. I don't really have the credentials because I never came even close to earning a master's degree. But since somebody had the guts of picking me as a speaker, the best contribution I can give is to really draw from my 40 years of work experience. Before I get going, I will say something that I am very envious, because I would do it all over again. Whatever interest, field of work you will pick, you will be at the core of exciting changes in society, technology, culture. More than that, thanks to your first-rate education, you will be able to make a difference in what happens around you. So with that in mind, a few considerations for you. First of all, and it's interesting that it has been mentioned by Professor Gino and also by Valeria, be really true to yourself and what is important to you. It's the only way to put your heart and passion in what you do and to do it well. As important, it's a critical ingredient to enjoy the journey, which has great days and some less good ones. By the way, as a marketer, I can tell you that contrarians make great marketers because they are wired to think in a different way. Authenticity is definitely a great trait of leaders. There are many different ways to be one. Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady, and Mahatma Gandhi, very popular tonight, did not exactly have the same style, but each of them was a great leader. So pretending to be a sweetheart, but then revealing the inner bastard in you does not build any trust or following. Be yourself. You should be proud of your strengths and build on them because they are your assets and what will define your contributions. I recruit lots of people and I recruit them for what they bring special to the party, for their strengths and not for their roundness. It does not matter whether they have shortfalls. We all do. Nobody's perfect. I have always been a relatively insecure person. I felt initially that would be quite a limitation. Gave me a few moments of anxiety, some white nights. When I started working, I felt like everybody was so much smarter than me, so I quit doing any sport and I put on 8 kilos in 8 months. Not a pretty sight. To this day, I still bite my nails, but it actually turned out okay. The insecurity, I turn into some form of advantage for me. I work harder on my preparation, on my analysis. I value more the opinion of others, and I don't take myself too seriously. And in fact, as I think about it, these are exactly the traits of my leadership. It's absolutely not perfect, but it's me. Funny enough, the Financial Times recently dedicated an article to insecure overachievers. Vindication at last. Second key thought, you should really look forward to a life of continuous learning. Your group is a perfect example because at different stages of your life and career, you decided to take on master courses. But it will not end here. Your education positions you exceptionally well for a world where change is accelerating. Listen to the futurist Alvin Toffler. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read or write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Nothing is granted of safe. You have to keep the fire in your belly and constantly evolve your skill set. And you should take it from me, because with 40 years under my belt, I should know it all, right? Not at all. New generations represent 80% of the market growth in luxury where I operate. 80%. Now, these are strange people. They live in a different way. They shape their choices through a very fragmented and mainly digital media environment. They have a passion for expressing themselves. They demand ubiquitous accessibility to products, and they value convenience as the best form of service. In the age of digital platforms, if we marketed as we did 3 years ago, we would miss them totally. I travel the world. I dedicate a lot of time to social listening. I walk the stores of our 70 brands every day to keep up with these fickle and demanding consumers. I also have a secret weapon. I have 3 kids in their early 20s. They are my private panel. They help me understand where and how to engage with these customers. So I'm still learning, and it's passionating to do it. Since I am on the subject of lifelong learning, I also want to say a few words on 2 skills that do not get the credit they deserve, but they have already been mentioned tonight. First one is curiosity, openness to new experiences, passion for exploration, asking the why behind behaviors, identifying patterns of disruption. Curiosity is a big winner and really is a great engine to generate new ideas. Not surprising, it is a key trait of great entrepreneurs. People like Elon Musk of Tesla, like my boss Bernard Arnault, like the patron of Tod's, Mr. Della Valle. The second is the ability to listen. I know it is hard to accept for our not so small egos, but we do learn a lot more when we listen than when we talk. Active listening is looking for what is new, smart, interesting in what is being said, rather than focusing on the flaws. Again, I have a very good testimonial here. That is Johnny Ive, the design wizard of Apple. Listen to him. What we found is that often the very best ideas come from the quietest voice. And if you are not paying attention, you are going to miss it. So well said. It's a good lead to my next point. Whatever the path in front of you and that you will be picking, it will be a formidable adventure amid human beings. Not much is achieved by individuals in isolation. Collective intelligence and diversity of talents combine for exponential power. Sport teams, musical ensembles, and certain business entities are great demonstration of well-orchestrated human collaboration. The industrial districts in Italy are a very good example of a virtuous circle of competencies, people combining for great result. And I think Bologna has something to show on that front. You will meet incredible people along the way. They will touch your life and you will do the same with them. And although you are young, you certainly have experienced that. You have experienced that here in Bologna during your studies. You came with different backgrounds, with different motivations, but then through nights of study, group assignments, I hope some serious fun together, well, that sharing was all part of the experience and of cementing a real sense of community, in some cases friendship, that will stay with you for a long, long time. This is exactly my feeling as I look back to many years of work. How lucky I was to share my journey with great people. So many inspired me, taught me something, picked me up when I was down. To be realistic, not everybody was really my cup of tea. But finding a way to build a productive relationship, even with these people, and tapping into their talents, that was so important, very important. I'm an optimist, and therefore my memories tend to focus on great moments. A heroic night of work with friends at the office, a trip to Mongolia to find the finest cashmere for Loro Piana, the day when Sephora achieved global leadership in prestige beauty, spending 15 hours in a room with one of our top talents to retain him, which I did, or launching Dancing with Rihanna, her beauty line in New York last September. But life is also made of tough days. And, you know, with over 150,000 people around the world, we have our share. Last September, Hurricane Irma destroyed our hotel in St. Barth, so we had to evacuate 300 people overnight. Just 2 weeks later, the fires in the Napa Valley burned down some of our vineyards and left many of our people without their home. We even had the tragedy of losing a colleague from Sephora in the gunfires in the concert in Las Vegas. More recently, we had to withdraw from the market a defective product with obviously a huge cost and a major reputational risk. And then icing on the cake, over the last month, I had to fire a friend of mine, which was the right thing to do, but no fun. These challenges go beyond the professional sphere. They tap into character and resilience, and I can tell you that I appreciated a lot the help and the dedication of our people. Those were very tough and emotional days that brought us closer together. And this is the right note to conclude on. I have one last quote from Professor Jeffrey Arnett, who appears to know you quite well, because he says, despite their narcissistic passion for selfies, new generations are an exceptionally generous breed that hold great promises for the world. My wish is that you prove him right, that you engage life, people, opportunities, problems with that generosity alongside your drive and your great abilities, and that you can combine your dreams, your personal rewards and success with a contribution to the greater good of society. That will be truly awesome. Thank you e in bocca al lupo.
Sì, grazie Tony Belloni.
Thank you, Tony Belloni, Managing Director of LMH. Now, the final moment, the graduation. And then we're going to have the party at Villa Guastavillani. The good weather is helping us. The Dean is happy. If it were raining, we would have to keep this longer. When you get to Villa Guastavillani, pay attention to a work of art that you will see at the BBS garden. It is the work of a Greek artist who actually has studied scientific disciplines, but he is also an artist. It is a cement and iron sculpture, very tall, very large. It is an superposition of abstract forms that make up a totem figure, a totem-like figure. The relationship between the forms and shapes represent the global availability of water availability. I guess it's a gesture of adoration towards me. The research was conducted by UNESCO by Igor Shklumanov, a Russian scientist who died in 2010, and Andrejko had studied him for a long time. The work reflects the availability of fresh water and the need to preserve this vital resource for the ecosystem and humankind. A few more minutes for logistics. After the photos, after you have launched your hat. You can even launch up in the air your gown. From Piazza dei Tribunali, not far from here, there's a shuttle bus, a free shuttle bus that will drive you up to Villa Gustavillani, and then bus 59, please do not drive up there with your car. It's going to be impossible to park there, and the shuttle buses will be available until 3 in the morning. Now, please, the scientific directors of all masters, please call all the graduates one by one who will stand up and wait for the proclamation by the rector. I now invite all the scientific directors here on the stage.
Global Master in Business Administration.
Global Master of Business Administration.
Abdul Razak Majada Sungubuyera. Abdullahin Wilfred Kenedo. Akintola Temipote Obafemi. Tamrat Abera Amboma. Asiedo Emanuel Opong. Castagna Murao e Lima Andrea. Chavez Troncoso Beatriz. Damiani Michele. De Villiers Andrews Dennis. Gesù Base Irina. Figueroa Consigliere Juan Pablo. Garbin Passano Romina Gabriela. Gardugno Rubi Paolina. Anna Cinzia. Hernandez Limas Priscilla. Ipchenko Cinedum Ogechikyu. Johnston Caroline Diller. Karsbinkiova Muslima. Cassie Lealel Fentav. Kinclase Nino. Lucic Dario. Macali Fabrizio. Mendes Rodriguez Ignacio. Misra Pankaj. Mangabi Farah Najib Subi. Morelli Mattia. Morentin Loren Victoria. Nona Aiola Anuluapo. Newman Lindani. Osugba Teresa Coyenum. Pasria Pulkit. Riesta Primadizia. Rocas Valeria Carolina. Ruggero Luigi. Serioli D'Agostino Tomas. Tangyu. Zegai Jacob Ashiliev. Valega Alarcon Luis Miguel. Yeboa Bediaco Opoku.
Master in Management 2016-2017.
Management Masters 2016-2017.
Domenico Bauleo, Serena Britannico, Edoardo Cavalieri, Vincenza Cerullo, Domenico Curci, William De Vita, Francesco Drazza, Andrea Ficchi, Simone Fratesi, Simona Labate, Emanuela Magellano, Cristina Maiorano Piccone, Antonio Minutella, Manuel Nucci, Stefania Orlando, Miriam Paternoster, Elisa Piccoli, Teresa Pompili, Maria Roberta Prainito, Camilla Rocca, Francesco Russo, Antonio Trimarchi, Giuseppe Vittoria. Complimenti.
Daniele
Congratulations.
Maria Bettazzoni, Lorenzo Brugaletta, Filippo Bua, Federico Cacciagli, Francesco Capogreco, Fabio Caravaggi, Letizia Carboni, Rossella Caselli, Andrea Catellani, Chiara Cati, Andrea Kelly, Giulia Chessa, Melania Cicchinelli, Francesca Corsi, Ilaria Crescimbeni, Giulia Cuppini, Manuel Gaetano Cutaia, Laura Dal Pont, Maria Carlotta Dall'Amico, Giampaolo D'Avanzo, Danilo De Leone, Maria Sascia De Leo, Giuseppe Di Napoli, Davide Di Bitonto, Alessandro Dirani, Fabiana Faccenda, Marina Fantini, Gaia Ferrari, Emanuele Ferraris, Andrea Ferraro, Giulia Fini, Thomas Floriani, Simona Frascino, Lucia Galassi, Gianluca Lavenuta, Michele Maddalozzo, Maria Menatta, Milena Milio, Giuliano Montechiaro, Vincenzo Nicotra, Francesca Ordau, Beatriz Susanna Ordonez Rivera, Duru Begun Ozupek, Pietro Perrone, Matteo Petroni Granata, Filippo Polimeno, Alice Preziosa, Maria Beatrice Ragni, Carmine Paolo Rauzino, Tommaso Righi, Nicola Sanna, Giovanni Selleri, Africa Adelaide Siccardi, Alessandro Silva, Enrico Stefanini, Francesco Tinti, Sebastiano Torresini, Michela Vazzana, Brunella Venezia, Master in gestione di impresa.
MBA.
Momento.
Master in Marketing
Master in Marketing, Communication and New Media.
Usnia Akundova, Margo Antonini, Valentina Azzori, Reda Baibars, Camilla Canale dal Martello, Matteo Capelli, David Casani, Anna Gabriela Ciuchimia Suxo, Alice Collini, Alessandro Costa, Alexis Berenice Cuevas Robles, Serena D'Arienzo, Giovanni De Falco, Vincenzo Di Sabantonio, Vivian Farabotti, Fosca Fimiani, Marco Frighetto, Avani Funde, Giulia Gazzabin, Feng Gu, Anan Yazat, Kizuru Honda, Hannah Kane, Giulia Lavolpe, Linda Lutz, Niccolò Milazzo, Raya Mograbi, Francesca Perrone, Margherita Pinca, Erickson Razzon, Filippo Rossi, Pablo Sassone, Roberta Sforza, Vladimir Stepanov, Tiffani Tirado, Antonella Totaro e Alessandro Zattin. Complimenti, congratulations.
Gli applausi alla fine.
The rounds of applause, please keep them at the end. Let the declaration continue.
Sara Cristina Berli, Claudia Cicchini, Andrea Cortese, Luca Faedi, Giulia Galante, Guglielmo Gamberini, Ilaria Lusuardi, Carlotta Mazzuccato, Edoardo Ognisanti, Stefania Parasiliti, Vincenzo Pernisco, Paolo Piredda, Antonio Putignano, Mattia Solina, Nicolò Maria Torroni, Arianna Vitale. Complimenti.
Avanti.
Master in Digital Commerce 2016-2017. Andrea Bertini, Zarina Daschieva, Angelo Di Riso, Anna Quick, Daniela Montalvan Balladares, Claudia Romana Taddei, Giulia Turetta, Anna Veronesi. Congratulations.
Master in Human Resources and Organization, Manuel Angelucci, Maria Sole Barbieri, Inda Bemba, Ianesa Brito Lopez, Silvia Brucoli, Michael Bulfari, Laura Di Marco, Federica Esposito, Alessandro Filardi, Benedetta Florian, Sara Giudice, Chiara Iseppi, Kevin Janot, Emanuela Cavanacchi, Sudhir Konduru, Nicola Leone, Gena Lu, Mariangela Macchia, Matteo Migliari, Niccolò Montanari, Magdalena Sofia Munoz-Quieri, Fazai Valenia Musamba, Lucrezia Pala, Antonella Pettinato, Daike Rickers, Marianna Sessa, Alberto Tinerelli, Giovanni Valli. Congratulations.
Master in amministrazione, finanza e controllo.
Master in Administration, Finance and Control.
Leonardo Agostini, Domenico Carbotti, Luca Cavicchioli, Alessia Cremonini, Luca Donati, Stefano Felaco, Giorgio Forlini, Annalisa Govoni, Luca Levorato, Daniele Manco, Davide Marcato, Jacopo Elia Manè, Filippo Pieraccini, Luigi Pivelli, Sergio Sanseverino, Ariol Sciandro. Congratulazioni.
Congratulations.
Master in Data Science.
Master in Data Science.
Nirmoi Ciarbe, Elena Congeduti, Agostino D'Amore, Peter Engerer, Vivian Garcia, Fabio Giraldo, Silvio Guzzo, Nicoletta La Greca, Alessandro Lucarini, Anthony Medina Carrion, Valerio Nicosia, Matthew Olivo, Riccardo Panzacchi, Samir Roadia, Hanna Shaskuskaya, Frishta Subat Ahmed, Luca Tagliati, Rana Nur Yavuz. Congratulations.
Executive Master in Operations. Alessandro Barzan, Filippo Bassani, William Berselli, Denis Bordini, Francesco Brillante, Francesco Carpineta, Maria Cicolecchia, Marcello Cocca, Lorenzo Fiumi, Eleonora Marongiu, Francesco Andrea Niglio, Matteo Palmieri, Matilde Perini, Letizia Smilovic, Emilio Tucci, Alex Veneselli, Giovanni Zoffoli. Complimenti.
Congratulations. Masters in Business Administration. We can type 19th edition.
Francesco Albano, Francesco Andaloro, Matteo Artioli, Danilo Antonio Bove, Vladimiro Buda, Lorenzo Buganè, Vincenzo Capobianco, Eugenio Casadio, Domenico Casaleno, Massimo Cencia, Nicola Comandini, Luca Corradi, Aler Crepaldi, Giuseppina Cuccaro, Riccardo Delfanti, Pietro Di Sparano, Antonella Distante, Simone Dozza, Nadia Ferrari, Fabio Fiacchi, Caterina Gelfi, Luca Guizzardi, Matteo Incerti Massimini, Raffaella Iorio, Roberto Lepore, Chiara Lepori, Michele Loconsole, Valerio Lunardelli.
Jacopo Maggi, Matteo Mancini, Marco Masotti, Federico Merlo, Alberto Minardi, Erika Montuschi, Filippo Moraglia, Sara Muccioli, Alessandro Panazza, Diego Pappi, Guido Perozzi, Danilo Pestarino, Marco Piperno, Serafino Pischedda, Emanuele Podeschi, Davide Ricci, Marco Ricceri, Francesco Riccò, Daniele Ricò, Pietro Ripanti, Francesca Ross, Carlo Salati, Michela Saporito, Francesco Schepis, Antonella Sciulli, Gloria Serafini, Roberto Stefanini, Gianguido Tirappani, Livio Torresan, Pasquale Vendola, Emilio Vicinanza, Giuseppe Viola e Denis Zanetti. Complimenti.
Complimenti.
Congratulations.
Andiamo avanti.
Executive Master in Technology and Innovation Management, nona edizione. Marco Battazza, Marco Bellei, Marco Bubani, Giuseppe Giorgio Libero Cirignano, Nicolò Compostella, Cristian Alessandro Corvino, Giuseppe Di Rosa, Filippo Fabri, Claudio Farina, Sara Farinelli, Giuseppe Franco, Federica Magnani.
Massimiliano Milardi, Federico Monesi, Antonio Montanari, Massimiliano Motta, Laura Reggiani, Francesca Roni, Emanuele Simonelli, Antonio Solito, Giovanni Stanzani, Michele Teodorani, Luca Trianni, Marcos Valdes, Rubens Zampelli. Complimenti.
Complimenti.
Congratulations.
Executive Master in Sales and Marketing, Cristina Baccarini, Elena Barbieri, Leonardo Bortolato, Andrea Boschetto, Alessandro Carboni, Silvia Cavallari, Nicola Giorgio Dress, Giovanni Franchi, Maria Golubeva, Marco Lucchetti, Alessia Giovanna Mancini, Marco Mazzini, Roberto Mescolini, Anna Moretti, Maria Chiara Ottaviani, Serena Paglioni, Nicola Peck, Alessio Puglia, Francesco Regine, Vanessa Screpis, Alessandro Semprini, Cristian Tassi, Irene Bianca Tedeschi. Complimenti.
Congratulations.
Executive Master in Digital Business, Gabriele Celli, Michela Chelaru, Giulia Formentini, Barbara Iuasvova, Giulia Maria Maspero, Luca Antonio Mazzone, Marco Mondardini.
Gianluca Muraglia, Giorgio Nipoti, Gorken Pamuk, Letizia Pieri, Claudio Rossi, Igor Sashkin, Giulia Ventrucci. Congratulations.
Congratulazioni.
Master Business Administration Part-Time Serale, Amalia Abua, Antonella Arcidiacono, Paolo Avanzini, Federica Benni, Marco Bernardini, Giacomo Berti Arnoaldi Veli, Marcello Borromei, Carlo Buraffato, Niccolò Cantamessi, Giuseppe Colamassaro, Paolo Coletta, Nuri David, Michele Di Vico, Maria Carmen Dionne, Francesco Ebreo, Luca Fantasia, Fabio Farina, Erika Fiorentini, Federica Fortunato, Giulio Fraulini, Luca Giordani, Paola Agnesi, Mirko Masullo, Roland Moser, Priscilla Natale, Luca Neri, Andrea Paladini, Francesco Passarini, Luigi Pazzaglia, Francesco Porro, Andrea Puggioli, Sauro Salvucci, Saverio Schiappa, Olga Sciaghina, Giuseppe Spinella, Vittorio Tovoli, Emanuele Vallone, Stefano Visinoni e Filippo Volpin. Complimenti.
Congratulations.
Executive Master in Entrepreneurship, Pietro Alberghini, Antonio Luigi Costato, Salvatore Dolce. Complimenti.
Congratulations.
Executive Master in Business Administration, 15ª edizione.
15th edition.
Alberto Barattini, Marco Barbuto, Simona Bergonzoni, Mauro Bocchieri, Raffaella Bombarda, Massimiliano Bonanni, Giuseppe Capruzzi, Manuele Cardini, Giuseppe Ciacci, Paolo Sergio Rodriguez Coelho da Cruz, Daniele De Cia, Giuseppe De Martino, Fabrizio Favali, Fabrizio Feduzzi, Marco Ferrando, Matteo Ferrari, Andrea Fregiati, Riccardo Galvani, Katia Gamberini, Eliana Gargiulo, Gabriele Gasparetti, Cesare Germandi, Michele Gulinelli, Eiona Asca, Lorenz Ladecchi, Pierpaola Lecce, Luca Lorenzoni, Lorenzo Lugli, Giuseppe Maffione, Alberto Mandreoli, Gianluca Massera, Emanuele Morandin, Matteo Nardini, Torben Nielsen, Stefano Olivieri, Nicola Patoan, Samantha Panagin, Francesco Panini, Francesca Pellegrinelli, Alessandro Pezzoli, Maurizio Pizzirani, Carlo Raimondi Cominesi, Marta Rimbano, Luca Sabattini, Francesca Sandano, Pasquale Saracino, Cristiana Simonetti, Michele Solazzo, Giuseppe Soli, Luca Spaccapelo, Massimiliano Strini, Giuseppe Tabacchi, Andrea Tirinnanzi, Giorgio Tugnoli, Franco Valentini, Massimo Vienna, Nicola Zanella, Matteo Zanioli, Diego Zurolo. Complimenti.
Congratulations.
abbiamo proclamati sul campo. Autoproclamati.
Dobbiamo
Ne
invalidare.
abbiamo autoproclamati sul campo.
They sort of self-proclaim themselves. They self-declare themselves. You haven't been declared yet. Wait. We will withdraw all diplomas. So dear class 2018, we are nearly at the moment of the declaration, and before actually saying it, it's a pleasure for me to congratulate you on this achievement. This is just one of the stages, as Tony Belloni just said. I would like to wish you something. I hope for you that in this unpredictable world, as President Prodi said, I hope you won't be trapped and tangled in the present, in what is contingent. I hope you'll have the force of keeping your head up to feed this long-ranging thinking. And now the actual declaration. Considering the studies conducted at Bologna Business School and considering the outcomes of the final exams, I confer onto you the title of Master. Congratulations.
Adesso